I've been face to face with a creature 40 feet long and another small enough to sit in my palm. And one of them was the most dangerous of my life. The wonders of the underwater world are truly amazing, and to experience them firsthand through scuba diving is truly an unforgettable experience. Today, we'll talk about the encounters that quite literally hooked me into more diving, what they taught me about safety, awareness, and respect, and how you can use those lessons on your next dives. We'll start in the seagrass, where we sought out to see a rare, hard to find, and vulnerable gentle giant. By the end, we'll close with a song so powerful it almost made me forget to breathe. Let's dive on in. We were visiting the Red Sea of Egypt for a liveaboard, but beforehand, we heard there have been recent sightings of this rare and elusive animal. So of course, we set out on an adventure to see it. We performed one dive through shallow seagrass with beautiful lighting, but sadly, no one spotted it. During our surface interval, we heard commotion from afar and knew exactly what others were seeing, but we were restricted to just snorkeling as we were still off-gassing. We saw that gentle giant from above as it moved with surprising grace for a creature weighing several hundred pounds and had absolutely no concern for other divers' personal space as they sat there in front of it filming it. Much to our own amazement, it was almost putting on a show for those divers as we saw it perform barrel rolls and backflips as those divers sat there filming. I can't tell you how jealous I was. Then, almost as if it was curious about us from above, it came up to breathe air at the surface right next to us. Its face was wrinkly and its tail looked like a mermaid. By the time our surface interval was cleared and we were ready to dive again, our gentle giant went off into the blue. And although we didn't get a chance to dive with it, we learned a valuable lesson that day. Sometimes we get caught up in chasing the rare glimpse of the animal and picture to ourselves how we want the experience to happen. Ultimately, life doesn't work like that. The only way to see something is to dive. And the only way to experience it sometimes is by luck alone. The rest is part of the adventure. The dugong drifted away after giving us a show, and I hope more will be able to see that gentle mermaid cow of the sea for years to come. Next, we have a truly unexpected encounter at Socorro, and nothing truly prepares you for a 40-foot animal swimming directly at you. Your breathing changes, and your lizard brain yells to get out of the way. But despite this, my inner adventurer thought the animal would probably dodge me, and so I stayed in front of it to film it approaching me. It certainly did move a wee bit, but not as much as I should have just got out of its way. It's a massive creature that gently bumped me and brushed past me, and I felt the full force of its weight. And once I hit near its tail, I realized how much trouble I was in. While I am certain the creature probably slowed down to make sure it didn't smack me, I was also doing my best at this point to try and get out of its tail's wake. I've learned since then that it's always better to approach from this side, and if something's coming straight at you, get out of its way. And of course, you want to give that tail a generous arc and never block that forward glide. Sadly, the worst part of this whole incident is that I lost my footage of this encounter, but I still have numerous consolation shots of whale sharks over the years and diving while keeping a much broader and respectful distance. Keep your space, and it's important to realize these animals are often just playing, but as a child might also play with a small ant and accidentally smash it. And to that extent, when you see an animal the size of a school bus coming your way, don't be like me. And quick question for you. Where would you position yourself relative to the whale shark's tail on your next encounter? Also, when I visit Socorro, something with a wingspan wider than I am tall slid overhead like a slow heartbeat in the water. This giant, seemingly winged creature flies majestically through the water, at times opening its mouth wide to suck in small critters called plankton in the water. Socorro, in particular, is unique for these interactions with these creatures, almost as if it's an underwater 5-star resort for them to come, relax, and more importantly, to play. Reading intelligent animals means watching micro cues like bank angle, speed, and eye contact. And spending time with these animals will show you true wonders, from the aerobatic dances, flips, and circles around you. Parades, where they form lines of dances and follow the leader. Truly amazing. But mind your distance. These gentle, intelligent creatures are curious, but do not appreciate you getting close to them. They will circle on their own terms, then change depth to get a better view of you, your dive team, and your camera. It was such a surreal experience for me that one of these gentle oceanic mantas followed us up to the dinghy and watched each one of us board the boat. A big old oceanic manta flopping at the surface until we departed back to the liveaboard. I only wish I had the notion at the time to film this, but of course, it will always be burned into my own memory. I felt sad to wave and say goodbye as it watched us leave until it silently submerged back into the blue. While I really wish I had a video of it, but I was so astonished I could not take my eyes off it. Of course, this was also way before I had a YouTube channel, and I realize now how much gold some of these shots could have been. While at the time I was just enjoying, now I see things differently, like, oh, my viewers will love this. Shift of mind. The key from this one is that with wildlife, you want to hold still, relax, and let them come to you. This has always been how I get my best shots. I don't ever chase. And I have heard some surprising bullshit about how mantas like bubbles, and some divers will like to give them their bubbles, if you will. Don't do that. Don't be that diver. And chasing will almost always lead to disappointment, as the animal will just get annoyed and leave. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, now is a great time to like and subscribe. I post weekly content to help divers grow their skills, build confidence, and explore the ocean with curiosity and care. And by the way, I have a free newsletter. Check it out in the description, where I try to cover the latest and greatest of the scuba diving industry every month. Meanwhile, in warmer waters found in reef flats and tidal pools around the Coral Triangle, you might see a coin-sized flash of electrical blue rings that insinuates beauty in the wild and demands caution at the same time. Size is irrelevant in this case when the venom is potentially lethal and fast-acting. It's important to realize, though, caution does not mean you should just be afraid. Just be respectful of their space. And of course, that translates to good control of your buoyancy when around such creatures. Keep your eyes on them when they are around. While it's very rare to see any animal while diving that is aggressive, they can be defensive if you touch them intentionally or by accident. When you see bright colors in animals, it can often mean watch out. I will make you regret touching me. So focus on that buoyancy control, keep a stable and safe distance, and most of these beautiful creatures, such as the highly venomous blue ring octopus, can be observed when encountered and appreciated and enjoyed. When they flash those blue rings, they are warning you to leave them alone. They're not gonna just lunge at you and start biting at you. That is not a thing they do. But don't use as an excuse to be harassing them and getting into their space. Observe from a safe distance. Pretty and small is not the same as harmless. Intelligence would be the next theme, but this time it was aimed at me. A rock face changed texture as if someone turned a dial from a rough rock to smooth sand to a mottled brown. Two eyes watched me while the rest of the body solved for diver in real time. While they can be very difficult to see out and about, usually the time to see them reliably is when they need to nest. And the females can be found guarding their eggs as they've eaten their final meal and will remain guarding their hatchlings until they draw their final breath, embracing their future offspring. And now, of all the dives I've done, I still have not been so lucky to see a large adult out and about. But I have certainly seen plenty nesting and continue to wish for the day I see a full adult that I might be able to interact with on one of my future dives. Stay tuned. The giant Pacific octopus is truly a large and intelligent animal, and they can sometimes be hiding right in front of your eyes. While they can easily dispatch most divers, they are docile and tend to be more curious and friendly. Just keep your distance and let them come to you, if they choose to do so. These creatures are fairly exclusive to the colder waters in northern Pacific Ocean. Vision would fail me next, because the next creature was designed to disappear. I stared at empty water for 30 seconds before the outline revealed with a small motion of fins moving. Fins like steamers, a body like smoke, and a posture that matched every bit of debris around it. These are masters of disguise, and while they cannot contort or change their color appearance, they can stay deathly still and blend with their surroundings. Finding them is harder than it may seem, and often means you're looking to muck dive, where you'll slow your movements and instead look for finer, minor details of everything around you. Shapes may lie, but movement will tell the truth. These little guys are the ornate ghost pipefish that teach you the true meaning about going slow while diving and reward you in kind. They are beautiful as they are unusual. Timing would be my next teacher, because the prettiest jewels only come out for minutes at a time. The colors looked impossible, like someone cranked the saturation past reasonable. Some of the most vibrant and colorful fish that I've seen, and have unique ability to hover and socialize amongst protected coral. But there's a catch. They are very shy and often do not come out to interact with divers, if or not but for one well-kept secret. They come out at sunrise and sunset to mate, where they are more focused on the mating than they are viewed taking photos and videos. Arrive too early and you see nothing. Arrive too late and the show is over. Also, they tend to not come out if they see bright lights, so red lights or diving in near darkness may be necessary until they are locked in their mating ritual. All for a chance you can see them in full color out of their protected shelters. Patience will pay off and get to see one of the most pretty fishes out there, the mandarin fish. Mandarin fish can leave their shelter at dusk and dawn for brief mating and spawning rituals, and the window is measured in minutes, not hours. And this is where my tip for this one is that sometimes you see certain things in the wild. You have all these social cultures of different fish and ways that they live their lives. It's fascinating to us, but showing up unprepared is not always going to yield a desired result. In such situations, knowing what you want to see and preparing it properly can pay in kind. During one of my dives down in Dominica in the Caribbean, I heard a rapid set of clicks that vibrated my entire body. The animal that emitted them was so far off they could not be seen, which got me curious to try and see them up close. While not diving, but snorkeling from the surface so that these beautiful giant and off-shaped animals could be witnessed by us while giving them their own space, we were able to see them from the surface of the water. As they got together to socialize, sleep, babies played, and one very curious youngster had a surprising curiosity towards me. As he approached, we shared a moment when I realized he wasn't about to stop. And these things are the size of a car, even for their young age. While I was trying to get out of the way of this one, it was following, and he certainly can outrun me if he wanted to. However, while he was following me, he ended up nicking another member of my party with its back tail and quickly realized he shouldn't touch too, and backed away, leaving all of us speechless, observing each other from what seemed two entirely different worlds. These sperm whales live in Dominica year-round and emit click-like codas, which are filled with sub-packets of information that requires acute senses to be able to interpret. We are still, to this day, trying to understand those detailed packets of information so that one day we may be able to talk to these amazing animals. But until then, we continue to live our separate worlds and watch each other from afar. And with that, is important when you interact with other animals. They do not always behave as you would believe. Unusual interactions may happen, and that is part of the adventure, but also important to be ready for the unexpected. On a dive in the Sea of Cortez, immediately splashing into the water, I was met with a bone vibrating hum, distant enough that the singer could not be seen, but it felt close. Our dive guide was excited that this marvelous creature may come close as we were serenaded by its beautiful song for most of the dive. And I have to pause for a moment to let you hear some of this beautiful sound from footage of my dive. When these animals sing, they are stationary and can remain so until they finish their song. What's fascinating is that our understanding of these songs differ between groups of whales and seem to reflect a history of that social hierarchy of whales, and along with information updates that are being shared amongst the wider community. Later, on that same trip, we were out on a boat and witnessed one of these creatures adapting to a change of behavior and hunting sardines. No one knows how or why they are hunting sardines, but it is a surprisingly recent adaptation that we got to witness firsthand. These are humpback whales. While you can see them scuba diving, they remain incredibly rare and elusive in most cases. They are extremely migratory and often move long distances. The best chance to see them is usually when a mother is nursing their baby, which cannot survive long travel yet. And humpback whales are another whale with a very sophisticated language, and humans hope to one day be able to communicate with them once we have deciphered their language as well. And for my final lesson here is to leave you with awe and wonder. The ocean is filled with hundreds and thousands of interesting details, behaviors, and interactions of wildlife that you can encounter while scuba diving. It's a privilege very few people on this planet attempt to become good enough to see and interact with these amazing sightings. And I hope I can continue to share with you, and you can share your own stories like these for years to come. It's the wonders of the deep that truly motivate me and many others to continue to dive and fully appreciate what we can see beneath the waves. And with that, if you're a new or experienced diver, I have several video series to help you improve your ability to experience the underwater world firsthand. Check out one of those series that appeal to where you are in your diving journey here. The more you know, the more you'll love and protect the ocean. Until next time.